Hey there, everybody. Good morning. Welcome. It is Friday, finally, March the 20th of 2020. March 20th of March 2020. We're going to get your daily update for what's going on with COVID, and I'm going to give you a little bit of hopefully an inspiration boost this morning. All that and more right after this.
This is 7 Minutes in the Morning, where 5 days a week you get tips and hacks dedicated to helping business owners and leaders just like you find and break through the one thing that is preventing your success. And now, here's the host of 7 Minutes in the Morning and your results coach, Thom Rigsby.
Hey there, everybody. Good morning and welcome. Glad to have you back here on the show this morning. I have a special guest with me joining us in just a minute, Joe Copp. Before we get to that, I want to run through a couple of other announcements. If this is the first time that you are joining us, welcome. This is a repurposed installment of 7 Minutes in the Morning, my 5-day-a-week video podcast. We've now switched this to 7 days a week. We're going to do this over the weekend also, so that we can give you, small business owners and leaders, the information updates you need to survive through the first half of this COVID thing, and then to position and prepare yourself to thrive after it's over. I know that's hard to get your head wrapped around sometimes when you're looking at the balance sheet today, but it is possible. We're going to help you get there. Just stick around with us. When you get here, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, whether you're watching it on YouTube, Facebook groups, wherever you happen to be joining us, good morning. Thanks, and just leave a comment, let us know. Catherine says the sound is wonky. I don't know how to fix wonky, but we'll do the best we can and work with what we've got. Quick update on numbers before we get to our conversation with Joe. Another big increase in numbers yesterday. We went up 4,500 cases, but the good news is there's tons of good news in today's report. The rate of growth, this important number that we're looking at right here, this 1.5 now, that's now down for 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row that number has gone down. So even though the total number is going way up, the rate of growth is slowing down. That's an indication that we are moving toward an inflection point. It's the inflection point where we get to step on the gas. So that's really good news. Glad to hear that. I'm gonna go ahead and cut to Joe and go through some of the things I wanted to talk about, and come back and give you some news updates from yesterday. So hopefully, okay, so Catherine says there's an echo. So hopefully this will help with the echo too. I'll go ahead and get Joe on here. There we go. Hey Joe, good morning. Thanks for being on the show.
Good morning, Tom.
So Joe, tell us a little bit. I mentioned in the comments and descriptions, you're with Execute and Achieve. Tell us what Execute and Achieve is and what you do.
What we do is we basically work with people on their sales processes, their pitches, and pretty much integrate it and everything on tying it in with our marketing to actual execution into actual getting clients.
All right, cool. So that is exactly the kind of thing that we are looking for answers to today. What do we need to be doing in terms of sales, marketing, and execution in order to survive as we are approaching this inflection point?
Well, we're in a state right now to where a lot of things are shut down. And quite frankly, there's a lot of businesses that probably won't make it because of what's happening. What used to be order takers, where people were just coming in off the street and buying things, or people were calling up wanting your services or products, right now that's not happening. So in order to survive today, basically you have to be doing the same thing that the top performers were doing before this came.
All right, so give us some ideas. Like yesterday here in Alabama, state shut down all the dining rooms. I mean, that's a big hit. There are other businesses that even if it's not state mandated, they're just not having the customers come through the doors. What are the kinds of things we need to be thinking about and doing from a sales and marketing perspective that may be different than the norm?
Well, it depends on the business. For example, there are bars that did not serve food. They are closed right now. Um, so what they can do right now is just reduce their cost and wait it out. But you have to lay all the legwork for when you are getting ready to before you reopen. So you do everything you can so when you do reopen that you have a great bounce back. So this is where you reach out to your customers. You do the social media campaigns, especially the ones that don't cost anything. This is where it's so critical to have a list of people that's come to your websites or have contact lists for regular customers, texting them, things along those lines, and getting back to the phone and direct mail. Um, Keeping communications and connection is critical, especially to existing customers. So focus on that. Look at how the buyer's process is changing with these conditions, and is there a way that you can intercept the way their buying is changing to where you're selling according to how they're buying at this time?
So we've used restaurants. Let's use something else. There's because they're kind of easy. Let's take something like a car dealership, right? There's restaurants, there's a whole service industry side, but then there's also a product industry side. What can the product industry side be doing to kind of tread water right now?
Okay, on the product side, there are going to be products that people are going to need right now. Um, you know, people need services, plumbing, things like that. Car dealerships, um, they're just fighting to stay open so they can sell to the public. Um, right now, that they have to practice just everything safe. That's maintaining everything as clean as possible. That's to where people aren't going to get sick from coming to their facilities. That's where making sure that you have hot water in your bathroom sinks, making sure you got the antibacterial soap in there for them to wash their hands, um, setting up communication where people can actually look at cars without having people in them, making sure after someone's gone into a car that they're wiped down afterwards. All these things are critical. You have to think of every aspect from a safety perspective if you're expecting anyone to come into your business and actually do business with you for the next several weeks.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. That's why we have been tracking the numbers here so closely, so we can hopefully kind of spot where we are on that logistic curve. So, Joe, what are some final thoughts that you might have for folks who are trying to keep sales going over the next 2 weeks?
Okay, sharpen your sales techniques. Any sales that you make, you can't afford to lose them right now. So if you haven't practiced sales, practice it with people. Do it from a safe distance. Um, Sharpen your phone techniques. Get back on the phones. Do effective mail campaigns. Do the letters that are going to get you results. Make sure you have clear call to actions. Make sure that it makes sense with what people are going through right now. Um, tie down your offers with logic and the emotional components that are needed to make sales. Now, right now, people are very emotional anyway because everything's been disrupted. So everything you offer has to make sense, especially with what's going on. And your phone calls. you know, if you have existing customers, if your products are used again and again, then reach out to your existing customers. Keep your communication lines open with them. If you are in a business that requires a constant influx of new customers, you have to do massive marketing. And right now, it's very people are trying to scale back on their cost, but you can't stop your marketing. If you do, when this thing does end, the people who's maintained a modicum of marketing and actually done the things that we've talked about, the phone calls, the texts, the letters, the email campaigns, radio, top of mind is great right now. These are all things that we need to be doing.
All right, all that sounds really good, Joe. Thanks, I appreciate that. You are spending time in our Facebook group, the Small Business Fights COVID-19 group. So if folks have questions, that's a great way to get in touch with you. How else should they get in touch with you if they need help?
Well, right now, if you have questions, you can call me directly, 256-714-4472. You can also email me at joe@executeandachieve.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back over here. There we go. All right, so a couple of things that were important, and the one great thing that came up in the comments. Catherine had a great idea about restaurants and bars. You know, one of the things that we don't do a lot of is list building. And this is a great time, to work on list building. And so Catherine says over here, let's see if I can put this up on the screen there, because this is a great idea. It's going to have to be over my face, but that's okay. Restaurants or bars could host members-only events online to include recipes or guides for making drinks or other treats. If you do that, kind of in the context of say a Facebook group or something, that's a way to create this list, to create a group of people who are your customers that you can communicate with on a regular basis. Gives you a great way to do that as well. All right, a couple of other newsy kind of things that happened yesterday here in Alabama. Big thing that happened yesterday was the state closing dining rooms, daycares, and beaches. At least through April the 5th. Beaches because the spring breakers were not taking the hint and they were still spring breaking. Dining rooms just, to reduce the density of people that gather in one place. But there is a bunch of encouragement to continue ordering out from your favorite restaurants. Restaurants are going to be hit by this very hard. One of the comments that I saw yesterday was this virus may kill more businesses than people, right? It's super important that we, as business owners, we continue to let people know that we're open and we continue to let them support us. As consumers, it's important for us to continue supporting the businesses that are important to us. There still is no disaster declaration for Alabama. Georgia has one. Florida has one. So if you want, and this is a good way to be prepared for this, if this is something that you think you're going to apply for, two things. In the notes, there should be a link there for, hang on, let me get back on the screen here so I can do it justice. A webinar hosted by the Small Business Development Center preparing to apply for the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan. That's at 9 a.m. this morning. Likely there will be replays of that available. The link for that is down in the show notes in the description. If you can't find that, send me a direct message and we'll get you hooked up on that. You can also go just click through one of the other states, like Georgia or Florida, and look at their instructions for how to prepare. It's going to be exactly the same. We're expecting the disaster declaration for Alabama shortly, maybe today or Monday at the latest, and that's going to kind of turn on the tap for this funding and whatnot to come through. So be on the lookout for that. Of course, we'll update you here with that. That is kind of half, the other half of the Families First Act that went into effect yesterday. So that Families First Act is the one that says that as business owners, we have to offer our employees 2 weeks of paid time off if they fall victim to this particular virus, um, and some other things. That's the big one. And so the question has been, well, how am I going to pay for that? Well, these economic impact loans are how you're going to do that. So there's paperwork associated with that. There's an application process. You can go ahead and begin working on that so that when the declaration is available in your area, whether you're in Alabama or anywhere else, there are a number of states that are declared already. So go to sba.gov/disaster, sba.gov/disaster. You can look for your area there. You may be able to apply already. All right. It is true. In fact, we reported here yesterday when I talked to LD Ralph from the SBA on Wednesday. He said that the paperwork was done and sitting on the governor's desk. Has to make it through a little bit of a process before it gets back to the SBA, but once that's done, things begin to happen there pretty quick. All right, let me check my notes here and see if there's anything else that I wanted to hit today. Well, looks like that is all for today. Let me go over and hit the numbers one more time since Catherine said those were a little difficult to hear. Really good news coming out of the numbers today. Even though the number of reported cases went way up again, another increase, 4,500 incident increase, the rate of growth declined for the third day in a row. We know that the numbers are going up because there's more testing and more results coming back. So we're not really, all that's expected, and we're not really worried about that. What we're watching more closely than the actual numbers is this rate of growth. As that number gets back down closer to 1 and then gets below 1 for 2 or 3 days, actually 3 days, the rule that we're going with. Once that number's below 1, less than 1 for 3 days in a row, we're calling that the inflection point, and it's time to step on the gas and get back to work. So right now we are coasting. We're doing the things that we need to do to survive. Right now, survival is the key word. For a lot of people, we're not used to operating in this mode. This requires a different mindset, so I want to bring this up every day. We have to do the things that need to be done in order to survive. There are a lot of businesses that are trying to hold on to employees as long as they can because they love their employees. They want to take care of them. In some cases, you may be doing more damage to them than you are helping them. There are some circumstances where it's better to go ahead and lay them off so that they can get unemployment. It is also possible for them to get unemployment even if they're not laid off. So we'll get Carrie or Samantha back on here to talk about the right way to handle that on one of the shows over the weekend. But the point here is you have to think about survival. Maintain cash for as long as you can. Right? We're going to get this economic economic impact loan program in place so you can get some funds to pay your employees. But look, at the end of the day, we've got to last. The business has to survive until this inflection point so that we can get back to thriving on the other side. So right now, the word of the day is survive. Last thing I want to hit you with before we leave, I know it's been a long show today. Back over here where you can see me. I know it's been a long show today, but last thing I want to hit you with is a quote. I love doing these quotes of the day. Today's is a good one, not just because it's from me, but because it really applies here today. Business as usual produces results as usual. If you want different results, you have to do things differently. Right now is a time to do things differently. As Joe said, right? Use this phone for something other than a paperweight. Actually pick it up and make some phone calls with it, right? Do the things you need to do in order to survive. If you are having difficulty mapping out a plan, if you can't see a path forward, or if you just need some help, give us a call. Phone number's down there on the screen, 844-234-8466. We'll be happy to help you. We'll talk through your specific circumstance, put you in touch with the right expert on the team, and help you get a plan together to move forward. All right, tomorrow, we are doing a show again tomorrow. We'll probably talk about more economic impact. We'll see if we can't get some HR-related topics in tomorrow. So if you have any questions, this will be a good time for you to leave questions in the comments. We'll try and get those questions answered in tomorrow's show. That's why we're doing this every day. It's a very fluid and dynamic situation. Things change every day. We need to be able to update you every day so that you're able to kind of get through this. We're all able to kind of get through this thing together. Yeah, as Catherine says, that's right. Be intentional about what you do. Don't just do it because other people are, right? Just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. You know, like buying pallets of toilet paper. Well, no, just saying, throwing that out there. You guys have a great day. Remember, if you need help, 844-234-8466. That'll ring this phone right here and a couple of others, and we'll get you in touch with the help that you need. I'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. You be sure and join me here. Hey, do me a favor before we go. If you've gotten any value from this information this week, give us a heart, stars, thumbs up, likes, whatever is appropriate in the venue where you are watching or listening. And also, there's a share button right underneath this video or audio. Click on that. Send this to all the business owners that you know so they can get the latest and greatest, most up-to-date information available as well. All right, now that's really it for today. You guys have a great Friday. See you on tomorrow's special Saturday show. Take care.